Hello, and welcome to Form, a podcast that explores the artistry and architecture behind communication. I'm Silver Wallace.
And I'm Kate Douglas. This season, we spoke to so many incredible artists that we couldn't fit them all in, but some moments were so good, we had to share them with you.
This is one of our favorite moments from our conversation with fiction writer Sophia Frank.
Heads up, like all our conversations, this segment is unfiltered. This episode contains explicit language and mature content, so listen at your discretion as we aim to fully form mindful ideas and language.
Yeah, so I think communication in my work is a little bit, in fiction, it's a little bit scary because it's like you spend all this time on it on your own and then you kind of like jettison it out. And then it sort of is what it is. It's like imprint, not a ton that you can change. You can write another thing, but like that thing is finite. And that is a little, I think that's scary to me. I think permanence is scary to me. Like I like to feel like things are malleable and like I could change my mind, you know, like I don't like to feel like I'm stuck in a spot or something like that. But sometimes you need to just like pick a spot and say like, this is my spot.
So how do you know when it's done? How do you know when your thesis will be done?
Well, what's very helpful right now is that there is a deadline. It is due on January 4th. So it will be done on January 4th. As far as like other things that I like, knowing when it's done for me, there's this feeling that I get with certain pieces where I never think it's perfect. I'm never happy with it, but I personally like hit a wall where I feel like I've done everything that I can do at this point in my life. And I could spend the rest of my life trying to make it perfect. But there is always sort of like an end for me emotionally, where it's just like, that is everything that I'm capable of doing. And now I have to set it down.
Beautiful. Well, I feel like our next question for you sort of answered. You answered it in a really interesting way, because our next question is, what about communicating in your field lights you up? And you said that the finiteness around working in fiction is really scary. And so that is sort of a lights you up kind of thing.
Totally.
In the glass half empty kind of way.
My dark, pessimistic little self, like, yeah, my little masochistic self is just like, yes, it's terrible. It feels so bad. I hate it, but I like it.
But what else about communicating in fiction through fiction makes you?
I think the intimacy of it is really nice, because it when someone's reading, you're like, that's the closest you're ever going to get to like actually being inside someone's head. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like reading quietly to yourself is just sort of thinking someone else's thoughts. And I think that that's why fiction has lasted so long. Like you would think people wouldn't want to read books anymore with all this. People keep thinking books are going to die, and they don't. And I think the reason is because it's so intimate and it's so private, and so few things are private. It's that same thing that I was talking about before, where like the way I hear things through fiction is because I can be alone with it. And I think I kind of want to do that with other people, you know, like I want to try and communicate like that to other people. You know, I think if you're reading something, that's also as close as you're ever going to get to like walking in someone else's shoes, like reading fiction or nonfiction. I guess nonfiction, sure. But reading about someone else's story or someone else's experience, again, that's as close as you're going to get to like thinking other thoughts. You're never going to actually be able to, of course, but it's so inside your own head already. And I think that's why people get so mad about movie adaptations, because what they see and feel in their head when they're reading is so personal. And to realize that it belongs to everybody makes us like very upset. And we're like, no, because that doesn't match
what I had in
my mind, which is like so special because
the movies are never as good as the books.
Never good because it's not your personal creation. And my English teacher in high school told us that like the art part of fiction is you have what the writer brings and then you have what the reader brings. And then the art happens in the middle, like where they're meeting. So a really good writer leaves intentional gaps, but does it in like an artistic or beautiful or interesting or new way. And that's what the art of it is. And I like that idea. So that lights me up for sure. I also think that I like a good fucking story. I like good stories. I think they're so much fun. I like telling them and I like hearing them and I like watching them.
Word.
I mean, it's pretty simple when you put it like that. I mean, I think everyone loves stories. Thank you for listening in. I'm Kate Douglas.
And I'm Silver Wallace. Check out our Patreon for more content at patreon.com/formapodcast.
This episode was mixed and produced by me, Kate Douglas. Theme song is by the amazing Warp Trio. Follow us on social at Form Podcast.